Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to yes guys, I'm done sketching out my pattern. I'm just trimming off all the parts that I don't need. There are some parts you wouldn't be needing, so I'm trimming those parts out. As soon as I'm done trimming out, I'm going to be transferring it into a cardboard paper, which will be like my permanent paper that I'm going to be working with. So let's just go straight to it. Into my cardboard paper, and I'm going to be using a slipper slash for this pattern. Sorry, I actually drew my pattern on a sneaker slash, but placing that sneakers last on my sole, I realized it didn't fit. My sneakers is more shallow than my sole. The sole I have, which is the Birkenstock, is wide, so it is only this slippers last that actually fit in. So I had to switch to the slippers last. So there were a little touch I did for my pattern, because this pattern, this last and that of the sneakers last, are two different lasts. though with a very slight difference. So I needed to amend it a bit. But to go ahead with my work, I needed to fill this hole because I wouldn't be needing a hole since the shoe or the slide I'm making does not need that hole. So I need to fill it a bit so it fits for whatever I'm using it for. This hole can be filled with different things, though I just did a temporary filling, like I didn't even add gum to fill. I used a slim Marco, a Marco 2. That's what I used. I just folded them into different tiny pieces and I just chuck in it there just to fill that hole. That's all I needed to do for me, and I needed to fix it in a way that even when I'm walking, it's not going to pull off. So that is that for filling the hole. You can decide to fill with a gum, but I didn't want to fill with a gum because I don't want to have issues when pulling it off later, because I wouldn't be needing it after this show. I'll have to pull it off. Yes, so I just did the filling. You need to fill it neatly and remove any rough edge, any edge that is going to affect the molding of your footwear. You need to remove it because anything, if it's not smooth, is going to show on your footwear. So when making footwear, you need to be very careful. You need to settle down and do it. So here I'm done filling my last. So my last is ready for my footwear. Yes, my last is very much ready for my footwear. You can see it's all filled. This is my sole. If you can see, wearing it on my sole now, you'll notice the front is full. There is no much space. Those spaces are something that it's not really necessary because they are very small, very, very small. But placing a sneakers last on it, the space is so big, so obvious, and when you mold your shoe ignoring those space, it's going to affect the footwear, especially when the person is wearing it. It's going to affect the size, the wideness, everything about the shoe, even the shape of the shoe. It's definitely going to affect it. So let's just stick to our slipper sole that is filled. So my sole is ready, my last is ready. I have everything set out, so I need to build the up of my slide or my mole, which is like the major thing. This is my pattern that I have sketched out using that paper tape that I used initially. All I did was I removed it from the last, I placed it on this paper and I just cut it out. That was all I did. So now I'm trying to cut out this pattern on a leather lining, because the fabric, actually using a fabric for this work. If you check out the picture I showed you earlier, a fabric was used, though I'm not using that exact fabric because I'm actually making this shoe for a customer. So he requested for a particular fabric, which is what I'm using. different patterns of attaching lining to your footwear. For this particular one, if you can see, I'm trimming it directly, like I'm trimming the exact material out without leaving any allowance. Why? Because of the way I want my lining to be. So there are different ways you can actually put in your lining. You can decide to bias the edges, you can decide to tape in the edges, or you can decide to do it the way I did mine. But whichever one you prefer is fine. This is exactly what was in the picture. That's why I'm doing exactly what I was told to do. Don't forget, I said earlier that this job is for a customer, so I'm doing according to specification. He specified and showed me exactly what he wants, so I'm trying to do that for him. Yes, this is it. This is how it should be looking out after sticking whichever fabric you are using. Just take note, if you're not using any fabric, if you're using leather, you don't be going through this process. You're going to skip this process. Just trim out the leather you're going to be using, then cut out your lining as well. So right now I'm about cutting out my lining because I'm done preparing like the main frame of my footwear. If you are using leather for your footwear, you don't need gumming of fabric and all that. You just cut out your pattern on your leather and then go straight to cutting your lining. But because I was using a fabric, I needed to stiffen it with a leather or a lining first before cutting out my lining now. So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting out my lining. After cutting out the lining, we need to put the lining and the main gradually taking shape. Yes, it's taking shape now. We're almost done. Yeah, I decided to embellish the footwear with a buckle. So I'm just trying to create a strap for the buckle. It's just a fancy strap and nothing more. To create a strap for any size of buckle, just measure the inner part of the buckle, then